things which happens when layoff happens is the early mornings when the moment that you get up in the morning, you feel low, you feel depressive because the first thought is, oh my God, I don't have a job. What will I do? How will we conquer that? Because that is the point where you need to catch hold of it. This is where the another insight comes, is that the attitude, as I said, that everything happens for my good. When I think that everything happens for my good, uh, whatever has happened right now in terms of layoff is also for my good. Let me be positive about it. Right? Yes, I'm getting a lot of negative thoughts. Yes, I'm getting very depressive. Yes, 25th of the month I'm not getting the salary. But I've got the salary for 120 months, for 10 years. Did I complain? I didn't complain. I just took it for granted, right? I took it as if I really earned it. So this particular period, the low period, you will have to use your inner voice very strong because you will have a lot of voices in your and noises within your head putting you down, blaming you, the guilt trips and stuff like that. But uh, tap your strength there. Tap your strength there, saying that, okay, this happened for my good. I am not going to go into these depressive states. Let me quickly come out. So come out of the bed, talk to your friend, have a coffee, go for your jog, go to the gym. There's so many options that you have. One of the advantages of a layoff is that the time is yours, right? Until then, you need your boss's permission for a leave, just 1 day or 2 days. Once the permission comes, only then you can take. Now, you have your own permission for unlimited leaves. Use it. Some of my colleagues who were laid off took close to 1 month, 1.5 month kind of holidays. They went on to different uh, sites which they have not seen. They went on to their in-laws' place, friends' place, went to US, some went to Australia, uh, came back after 2 months, got the job after a month or so. So just imagine how they planned it, right? The entire period where they were interacting with others, they did not have a job, but they didn't have money uh, enough for them to really go for a trip. And then once they come back, they were confident enough to apply, get a job. So within 3 months, they're back on the job. But they had a 2 month kind of an holiday. So will you get a 2 month holiday when you work for a corporate? So they definitely are positive aspects of a layoff. I think one aspect which helped me was daily meditation. Something which I do in 3-4 slots a day. That helps me to be connected with myself. Um, what we normally do when it comes to post layoff kind of scenario, um, we tend to withdraw, right? We tend to go into a cocoon, uh, trying to handle things by yourself. Don't even talk to your partners or your friends and stuff like that. You need to communicate more, right? Talk to your friends, pick up the phone. I was speaking to someone recently who's actually going through at hard times. And he was sharing that earlier I just used to call my friend at 2 a.m. in the morning, and he used to sometimes pick up the call, shout at me, and then call back after 2 hours or so. Now, in the morning or the evening or the afternoon, I'm thinking, should I really call my friend now? What will he think about me? It's your own friend, right? But because you are withdrawing yourself, you're not able to have that connect. So, one very, very strong tip is that do not withdraw. Communicate more. Connect with people that you know. Connect with your own boss. People do not talk to their boss thinking that he's the one who's made a decision. He's not so senior to make the decision. Someone else right from the board level made a decision. So he's just implementing it, executing it. For example, my boss back in 2012 was not happy at all. He was very angry about it, right? I never blamed him because he had to do what he had to do. And when I became a boss, I had to lay off people. And did I have a choice? I didn't have a choice. I had to lay off. And people were angry with me. But I could then relate to my other boss because this comes with the job. And you don't own the business. You're just an employee, staff of the business, like any other team member. Meet friends. I think meeting friends helps. Don't just sit at home the entire day. Go out, meet with friends. And I would say, urge you to be open regarding with your feelings as such. Um, you will have a lot of time during your life. So I used to read books. Back in my college days, I used to read a lot of spiritual books, which I enjoyed. So when I read those books, right, what used to happen is uh, I literally used to imagine myself going through the experiences of whosoever was writing the book when I was reading, right? So it very different experience as such. And I loved it because a lot of advantages of reading books, one of which is the new words which you can actually learn and use. Others then will ask you what is the meaning of it, and they also a lot of advantages. Your language improves, your communication improves, your speaking ability improves, your writing ability improves. Your imagination actually improves because you're actually reading. Your focus concentration improves a lot. Rather than seeing a movie or an entertainment or a Kapil Sharma show, I would urge you to just grab a book, read for 10 minutes. Uh, that helps a lot. Uh, what I did at that point of time is also go into understanding the purpose of life. Why exactly? I mean, a lot of questions I had. Why exactly was I born on Earth? What is the purpose of my life? Is it that I just need to do a job? And if I look at my parents, right, in their life, if you look at it, struggle very hard, uh, ensure that we were educated properly, ensure that we were married, and then we're settled, and then they're taking care of the grandchildren, and then I know what's going to happen. Is it the same thing which I need to do? Is there a higher purpose of life? So you do have time to reflect uh, in terms of trying to make sense of what what life is in general as such. The other thing which I used to do, Abdul Kalam, President Abdul Kalam was, and he's my favorite leader, um, who's experienced failure. If you look at it, I was just laid off 40 days. I had another job, so I was happy about it. Professor Kalam was a project leader of the first rocket which was supposed to go in space, and it was 400 crores back in the 1960s and 70s. Huge money at that point of time. It went into the ocean. It didn't go up, it went into the ocean, and he was bombarded with the press, um, and his boss stood up for him at that point of time. So there's a beautiful case study on that. I'm not going to narrate, but he failed. But the boss stood by him, and then the next 2 3 years, they actually launched. India launched the first uh, rocket into space. So failure is not final. I mean, yeah, people fail, and if you observe yourself, when you fail is when you become humble. Yeah, you actually try to figure out what really went wrong. At the time of success, what happens is you tend to pat yourself that I am the reason as to why it happened. This was my strategy which I executed. So you give your credit all for yourself. Time of failure is time of reflection. It's not bad. It's actually good otherwise. So I do read a lot of success stories. I did read a lot of success stories, failure stories of leaders, and try to get a perspective in terms of what I should be doing. That helped a lot. And I think being a bit more selfless definitely helps. Working in a corporate, you always are working for yourself, your immediate family, right? Don't think about anyone else. There are a lot of other people who are struggling in life, struggling 100 times more than you. What are you doing? You're just not bothering about them because your life is secure. You got your salary, you got your investments in place, your family's happy. That's about it. Are we really bothered about them? They're not. They don't belong to me. So bit of selflessness helps. So uh, working for NGOs, through the corporate, you would have done a lot of CSR activities. That also helps a lot. So because when you give, and I would urge you, remember the time when you went for a CSR activity, corporate social responsibility CSR activity. Gone to the government school, looked at the uh, at the room. They don't even have benches. They're sitting down. Teacher has got a chalk to actually write, and that is how our Indian children are learning, not just in villages, in cities. And then the corporate comes in, buys some benches for them. We do some branding stuff, motivate them, give some pens, pencils, and stuff. Take some photos, put it on our intranet, give an interview for a newspaper. You know, all that stuff done. But remember the time that you went. Maybe you spoke to a girl there who's just around 7 years old, and you saw her in tears. You spoke with her for 10 minutes, and she smiled. So remember those moments because it matters a lot. And that moment you don't forget in life. When you give is when you don't forget in life. Right? So being selflessness is very, very important. And the reason why we are talking is you are being laid off. You don't have a job, you're being laid off. That is the reason why you're thinking. Had you have a job and had you been promoted, would you really think of anyone else? You wouldn't.